Wilma the Wonder Hen, and today we have finally get the opportunity to sit down with Nikki of Purely Chickens. It is definitely an honor to have her on our show. So we just want to say thank you, Nikki, for taking up our day. I know you're very busy. So welcome to Wilma the Wonder Hen's podcast.
Thank you. And it's an honor to be asked to be here because, we're all friends on social media, but I've never got to sit down and talk with you. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm very excited too. I know our listeners, in case they didn't know who you are, which is probably not very true. I'm sure everyone in the chicken community knows who you are, but could you give us a little idea of who you are, kind of your background? Just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. I'm a mom. I've got two young boys in elementary school, and I taught a kindergarten for 10 years. Decided to stay home with my second son when he was born, and then just kind of got bored and started posting random videos. On TikTok is where I started, and one of my chicken coop videos went viral, and I said, oh, people want to learn about chickens. Okay. And just kind of went with it. So now I stay home. I do this full time. I educate others. I'm an author. And I just spend a lot of time making sure that, I'm getting the correct information out there and sharing my experience and creating a community of open-minded chicken keepers where everybody can feel welcome. So that's pretty much what I do.
Oh, that's pretty awesome. Was that something, let's kind of step back a little bit. Did you have chickens and animals when you were little?
I did. Yeah, I talk about that in my book. I've always been like obsessed with animals. I don't know what it is. I was always bringing home something. I remember in high school, I bottle fed baby mice in my locker during the breaks of, when you
goodness.
My neighbor started their grill. A nest of mice fell out. The mom didn't make it. And I was like, I have to rescue these pink little mice. So ever since I was younger, my first pet, I think that I was personally given, I was about 3 or 4 years old. I just always have loved animals. And then I started hatching chickens with my kindergarten class back in 2006. And I became just enamored with chickens in general. So that's where I got my start.
So do you live in a place now where you can have as many chickens as you want, or are you limited?
Yeah. So we live in a town that doesn't have any restrictions other than, the coop has to be so far away from the property line. So you're not, close to your neighbor's house. But we're allowed to have roosters. There's no limit on hens, which is good because I have a lot. The only thing that I find restricting is we do live like in an allotment, like a neighborhood. And so I don't want to be intrusive to everybody else. So we do have goats and geese, and they are the loudest.
I concur. My geese are definitely the loudest in the whole neighborhood.
Yeah, and then they're fine unless they see you coming, and then they're like, "Hey, we need treats."
Yeah, what are your geese' favorite treats? I'm just as a sidebar here.
Grubs. They love grubs, dried grubs, and peas, of course. And mostly they just want to scream for food, I think, because I come out and feed them twice a day. And I have to feed them separately from my goats. And my goats don't eat their feed, so they know if they see me, it's most likely time to just eat in general.
I know that you have like you said, you started posting. You were bored. I think a lot of us, maybe it was during the COVID era. I'm not sure, but a lot of us that had chickens for many, many years, we just kind of like stepped on to the TikTok thing. And maybe that was just something we really resonated with. We really like, so that's kind of what we started posting about. But prior to that, in accordance with that, where did you find your information to learn about chicken keeping?
Books. There's tons of great chicken books out there. Social media groups are kind of hit or miss because you get people with completely different opinions than you. Or I feel like there's some places online that, you find the crowd of people who are like, it's just a chicken. Like, it doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah, right.
And their life doesn't matter. So, those kind of things are hard to find, like in a community where people have like the same viewpoints on animals that I do. The Chicken Health Handbook has that book is like a Bible over here for health issues. I love Poultry DVM's website. They've got so many good resources and information about different illnesses and how to find a poultry vet, all that kind of thing. Sorry, my dog just sneezed. Gordon.
Bless you.
Yeah. No. Hey, come here. Are you going to be bad? Come here. Can't bark on a podcast.
That's okay. We like bad. We like bad dogs, bad chickens. It's fine.
He's like, too long. I need to pester my sister dog. All right, you're okay.
What kind of dog do you have?
He is an English setter. He is a bird dog, which was a mistake.
Yeah, they're very rambunctious, and they definitely have a very high drive.
Yeah,
and with birds for sure.
Right, he's big in the house. He's super lazy. We go outside, and he has tons of energy. And then he just points at my chickens. He's super obsessed with my chickens. So that was probably not, in hindsight, it wasn't the best decision. But we love him, and they have a fence, so they're safe. But yeah, he'll stare out we had to cover our window that faces the coop so he can't see. And so he'll just obsess over them. But he's a pretty dog. He's just kind of crazy with that chicken. But
so when you got on TikTok, I know, like you said, you had a viral video and your account just kind of took off. What did you think about that? I mean, in that moment,
it was kind of funny.
Were you prepared?
No, I actually wasn't trying to gain followers. I wasn't trying to grow on TikTok. I was really honestly just bored. I think before I was at a tour of my chicken coop. Before that, it was, he's staring at me like, why'd you put me outside? All right, you said, how did I get started?
Yeah, how did you get started? And did you think that was going to be what you have now? Like, we can go back, take a few steps back. Like, when it first happened, were you prepared? Was it something that you wanted anything to do with, really?
No, I wasn't trying to go viral. I wasn't trying to gain followers. Actually, before I started this, I was kind of quiet on social media. Even like on my personal Facebook page, I didn't post my kids a lot. I just kind of stayed, kind of quiet. This video went viral. I remember we were leaving for vacation. I posted it. I didn't even think about it after that. We were sitting by the pool on vacation and my sister-in-law said, "Have you seen your video that you posted on TikTok?" And I go, "No." She's like, "It is going viral." And just like overnight, I had 10,000 followers. And back then I was like, 10,000 people? Like, what in the world? Yeah. The whole vacation, she was like super excited. She kept like opening it up going, "Oh my gosh, look how many you have now. Oh my gosh." And then I just kind of started answering people's questions from that video, just making another video answering a question about chickens. And it just kind of took off. And I had no plans to write a book, to, grow my social media to what it is now. I just didn't, that wasn't like in the plans. But once I figured out that like I didn't have to go back to teaching, this could be, a career.
Right. Oh, and yeah, right. Absolutely.
You could make use of it, that,
yeah.
Then that's kind of what I did. But my TikTok went from that 0 to 10,000, and now I think it's at 350,000. And I grew on Instagram, and I'm on YouTube and everywhere else. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun. And that's a lot to handle in that time span. Do you see anything like negative that came out of that?
Gordy, come here.
Anything negative come out of that, huge growth in such a short amount of time?
I know I didn't find any negativity, and I don't know if I just got lucky, but I feel like the people who have decided to follow me and the people who comment on my stuff are, really decent, good people. I've had, occasionally some negative comments here and there, but nothing that my followers don't all just, handle.
Right.
Comment under it and say that you're wrong. Like it's a chicken, it matters, that kind of thing.
Right.
No, but I haven't found any negativity, and it's been positive so far.
What do you think about the TikTok ban? I know this is completely unrelated, but I just thought I'd ask.
I don't know what to think about it. I still have hope that something's going to come of it. I feel like somebody out there with a lot of money is going to buy it and take it over. I don't know. I'm hopeful that it all works out. And I've been listening to other people talk about it, how it maybe 6 months, it may be 5 years, you really don't know what's going to happen with it and how it's going to go. So trying not to think about it too much. I think my followers that I resonate with the most are on Instagram. My following there is like, I don't know, 270 some thousand or something. And so it's not as big as my TikTok following, but I get more engagement there. I get more views there. I can communicate better in my stories there. I feel like I answer my messages there better. So I feel like that's my home base, even though I started on TikTok. So I'm trying not to worry about it, too much.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. I mean, you can't really, I think the mistake is like kind of putting all of your dreams and hopes in one platform and then forgetting about, you can look at TikTok and IG and all them as like short form content. And then you have long form like blogs and obviously books and, podcasts and things like that. That's where your long form. Anyway, that's like, we went complete left, but I was just curious your thoughts on that. Yeah. Do you have tips for someone who is just starting out, like the basic tips to help them?
I think it's probably the same as what every experienced chicken keeper would say is build bigger than what you anticipate. You're probably not going to stop at the 3 to 6 chickens you said you were going to. So aim for bigger unless you want to, know in the back of your mind you might upgrade later. Don't start with cheap materials. Yes, you can definitely raise chickens with cheap materials, but I feel like that's just going to be a pain in the end. You're going to, have to, and I don't mean like cheap as in price, quality wise. I mean, I have a metal roof on my chicken run, but it was all free for me. Like I salvaged those, so, but it wasn't, it's not going to fall apart. It may not look the prettiest, but it's not going to fall apart. So I just mean like get quality stuff, whether you have to scrounge for it or, pay for it, and just know that you're not going to get free eggs. all the things to know ahead of time that there will be trouble, there will be illnesses, there will be chickens who get, you want to have a strong stomach. And I always say start small. I think 5 is a great number, just to kind of get your feet wet and understand chickens and, know what they need, and then see what you can handle personally too. I think people, sometimes they jump in head first, get 27 chickens and realize I don't like cleaning chicken coops, or I, don't have the time to collect eggs and my chickens are breaking them, or, all these things that come up that you realize this was too much for me.
Right. Yeah, that's great tips. Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. When you started your book, like, did you immediately, once your following started growing, was that something that popped in your mind? Hey, I'm going to write a book about this.
No, I never had any intention to write a chicken book. I have always, because I'm a kindergarten teacher by trade, like I wanted to write children's books. And there's even like an article in the newspaper about me back in like early 2000s when they were interviewing the teacher, like the new teacher of the district. And I had said, my dream is to write children's books. So it's always been in the back of my mind, just never something that took off. And a publisher reached out to me because of my social media presence and said, hey, do you want to sit down? We have some interest in, publishing you in writing a chicken book. And my head went to, oh my gosh, they are gonna help me write my children's book. Like, this is my chance. And when I sat down with them, they were like, oh, no, that's not what we're talking about. We want you to write a how-to chicken keeping book. And I'm like, okay, let me think about this. And so I didn't say yes right away. I kind of just like molded over with my husband, what do we have in, the next year going on with our lives, that can I take time to like sit and write this book? And I decided I was going to go with it, and kind of wrote out a plan for what would the chapters look like, and then back with the publisher, and then it just kind of snowballed from there. So it was never in my plans, but it was kind of a fun twist. My family and my kids think it's pretty cool that, mommy has a book. So
yeah, I mean, that is pretty cool. Hey, you're the cool mom. So you just let them know and remind them of that. I know a lot of our listeners like to know, do you have a favorite breed of chicken? And if you do, why?
I always say Orpington. They're the ones I got started with,
Yeah.
and I think they're the ones I have the most of right now. I love Orpingtons for a few reasons. One, you can't resist a big fluffy chicken. Like
Oh yeah, they're
the big
booties.
the
They're
big fluffy
booties.
babies, you can't get
Yes.
past that. They lay eggs pretty decently. They make wonderful mothers. They come in so many different colors. Like I love that you could get all the same breed, but all
Yes.
that you could. My dog in the back. What is like choking back there? Oh my gosh! I'll start that sentence. So I like that you can get all the same breed, but they can all look so different. I love when the flock is like mixed and it looks different because I feel like that
Yeah.
you know their names and you know their personalities and you can tell who's who. Hi, buddy.
Do you have any future plans for your brand? Anything different? Something you want to branch out into, or are you just happy where you are? Are you just going to let it ride, or?
Yeah, I'm happy where we are right now. I have a new product out with my face on the bag. It was a co-branded product with Eat and Pet and Pasture. We've got some other stuff in the works coming down the line. So I think, continuing along that path of just coming out with stuff that makes chicken keeping easier for people and more
Right.
enjoyable, because that's where I get joy out of it. I'm not the traditional, chicken keeper that we know from the past where you just have some chickens in the backyard, you throw them their scraps and they give you eggs. My chickens are my pets. Like they are all named. They all know me. I know every single one of them. So, I like to spoil my chickens, but I want to make chicken keeping easier for people too. So, things coming down, I can't talk too much about them, but things coming out, eventually more stuff.
Yeah, I think that's pretty typical with most of the people that are in our little circle, and definitely most of our guests. They don't think of chickens like they did in the past as just food, which, I mean, some people still, think that way, and Will is never to judge. So, to each
Right.
their own. You have to do what's best for your family and your flock, and we would never do that. But yeah, I tell a lot of people, and I definitely, when you're speaking to our vet, that chickens are the newest in quotation mark companion pets. They are they are beyond laying eggs, and once they stop laying eggs, they retire. That kind of thing. And that's not always true in other places, because you can't afford the resources to feed the animal continuously and not like get a benefit from it.
Yeah.
But like I said, that's not how we think. But if that's how you think, that's okay too. We're not here
to. There's a place for that, and that people, if you want to get 5 chickens in your backyard to provide your family eggs for a benefit, and you're not like one to bond with chickens, that's totally cool. Like as long as your chickens are treated well and you're keeping them healthy and not abusing them, I have no problem with that at all.
Yeah, definitely. 100%. I agree. Okay. So can you tell us how our listeners can find your book? And I believe it's books now. You have a children's book coming out. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. So both my books are on my website. They're linked there, and you can get them at multiple different places. On Amazon, you can find them there. It's the easiest place. Barnes and Noble has both of them. And then, you can go to the website where they're published and find them there too. But those are all linked on my website, purelychickens.com. My second book, my children's book, is called Benny, and it's about my rescue goose, who I always said, and my followers you'll see comments, I thought you said you were never getting waterfowl. And I said that from the beginning. I'm never getting waterfowl because I just didn't want them mixed with my chickens. I didn't want water with my chicken. I just didn't want the mess. I didn't have a pond. I felt like it was going to be a bigger undertaking. But somebody on Facebook posted a goose, like last chance before we call this goose. Who wants him? They called it. They said it was a he. They were like, he's gone after this. Nobody wants him. And I said, oh my gosh, dang it, bring me the goose. So this really nice gentleman brings me this goose. He was really sweet. He was really grateful that, the goose was given another chance. His flock was bothering him, pecking on him. He had some scoliosis going on, an angel wing.
Yeah.
Clear that maybe he wasn't fed the right stuff.
Right.
5 months after kind of rehabbing this goose, and after naming it Benny, he laid an egg. So Benny's a
surprise, girl. Shody.
She's a girl, and she's really happy now. We got her a sister, and that's it for us. until I scroll Facebook again. But no more waterfowl here. They live with our goats though, because I didn't want my rooster pecking on Benny with her, issues
Right.
and stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, so the children's book is all about her. My sister-in-law illustrated it. I think she did a beautiful job, and we self-published that one. So that's a little different experience, but it was fun.
Awesome. And our listeners that book is already out, correct? And
Yep.
they can find it on your website as well.
Yep. Or you can just search Benny by Nikki Houston or Purely Chickens, and it should pop up.
Can you tell all of our listeners where they can find you?
Yep. Just Purely Chickens. I'm TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook under the name Purely Chickens. And my website's purelychickens.com if you want to go there anyway. Instead, find me that way.
Okay, that's awesome. We are so grateful that we got to spend some time with you and your dogs. And we definitely like your insight. We could probably talk a lot more, but I know our time is limited on both sides. But yeah, we are very, very grateful, and we've been following you for a long time, and we appreciate everything that you share and do for our community.
Yeah, thank you so much. Same goes for you. Thank you for having me, and just love and respect.
Thank you. Bye. Bye, Nikki.